And you know what? I'm just going to say it straight. Most of what you're seeing about e-commerce right now is either outdated, oversimplified, or just completely wrong. And I've seen this play out way too many times. People come in thinking they just need a product, a store, and some ads. And then they spend weeks, sometimes months, getting nowhere because they're building this on the wrong foundation from the start. Now, I've been in e-commerce since 2013. I've built multiple brands from zero into millions of dollars and actually generated over $70 million combined with my own stores and my clients' stores. And I have mentored thousands of students trying to do the same thing. And if there's one thing that I've learned, especially in 2026, it's that the way most people are starting their businesses is exactly why they're not getting results. The reality is that there's never been a better time to build an e-commerce business more than now. Most people looking at e-commerce right now see more competition. I see the exact opposite. The barrier to entry is basically zero. Anyone can launch a store, anyone can run ads. It's one of the only business models where you can go from nothing to building a profitable business faster than almost any other niche, if you understand how the game actually works now. So in this video, I'm going to cut through all the bullshit and show you exactly how I would build an e-com business today if I had to start one from scratch. So the first thing I would understand is this. E-commerce in 2026 is not really about products. It's about how that product is perceived and whether the business behind it is actually making money. Because you can take a product that looks good on the surface, even something that you would personally buy, and still not make any real money from it. And at the same time, you will see products that are extremely simple, scaling and making 5 to 6 figures a month. And the reason is because what actually drives results has very little to do with the product itself and a lot more to do with how that product fits into the market, how clearly it solves a problem, how easily someone can understand it, and how efficiently you can turn attention into actual revenue. Because at the end of the day, that's what this business is. You are taking attention and converting it into customers. And then ideally, turning those customers into more revenue over time. So let's get into it. Before you even think about building an e-commerce store, you need to understand what actually makes an e-commerce business work today. And it really comes down to 3 metrics: CPA, LTV, AOV. The first one is your cost to acquire a customer, or your cost per acquisition, which is just how much money you are spending to acquire a sale. And this is still one of the most important numbers in this entire business. The lower your CPA, the more money you're actually keeping in your pockets. For example, if you're selling a product for $30 and your cost per acquisition is also $30, you're most likely losing money on every single first sale. And that's before you factor in the cost of the product itself, the shipping costs, refunds, or anything else that comes with running a business. It sounds pretty bad, right? But not necessarily, because that is only looking at the first purchase. And that's where the second number comes in, which is your LTV, or your lifetime value. It's basically how much a customer is actually worth to you over time, and not just what they spend the very first time. So using the same numbers, if that customer buys once for $30 and never comes back, then yeah, that's not really good. But if they come back and buy again, and then maybe come back again after that, that same customer is no longer worth $30. Now, that customer is worth $60, $90, and sometimes more. Now, your acquisition cost is being spread across multiple transactions instead of one. So that first sale is not where you make money. It's where you acquire the customer. Now, the third metric is your AOV, or your average order value. This is how much revenue you generate per transaction. So again, same example. If your product is $30 and that is all the customer buys, your AOV is $30. But if you increase that to $45 or $50 through either bundles, upsells, or a stronger offer, your revenue per transaction increases immediately. Now combine that with your LTV. Now each customer is generating more revenue upfront and more revenue over time, which means you can afford a higher CPA without breaking the business. That's the relationship between all 3. Your CPA determines how much you can spend to acquire customers. Your LTV determines how much those customers are actually worth. And your AOV determines how much you make per transaction. If those 3 numbers are aligned, only then you have a scalable business. So what we're trying to do here is to build something that people actually come back to. If someone buys from you and the experience is clean, the product does exactly what it was advertised to do, and your marketing feels intentional, they're far more likely to come back. Now look, I understand this is easier said than done, because hearing about CPA, LTV, and AOV is one thing, but actually building a business where those numbers work in your favor is a completely different story. At that point, you are not just trying to get a sale anymore. You are trying to build something that prints money consistently. And it all starts with the product. You need something that solves a real problem, and there needs to be clear demand for it. And you do that by making sure your customers will want to come back, because the product actually solved the problem they bought it for. And it also goes without saying that the buying experience should feel smooth. That is what drives retention, and that is what will increase the LTV. So if I was starting in 2026, I would be thinking about that from day one. I would not just ask, can I sell this? I would ask, would somebody be happy enough with this that they come back, buy again, and maybe even tell somebody else about it? And this is why product quality matters so much more now than it did 13 years ago. It's really easy to get a sale. It's actually not that hard anymore. You can throw something online, a decent creative, a decent product, or something that's going viral or trendy, and you'll get a few purchases. That's not the problem. The problem is nobody is coming back. And if nobody comes back, you're stuck in this loop where every single sale has to work perfectly. That's pretty exhausting and kind of unrealistic. So naturally, the question becomes, why would someone come back in the first place? And it's not some deep marketing psychology thing. Did the product actually do what you said it was going to do? Because if it didn't, you're done. You can run as many ads as you want. That customer is gone. So the product has to actually do what you said it does. The page has to make sense. The offer has to be clear. The checkout has to feel smooth. The post-purchase experience has to feel intentional. These things sound basic, but that is exactly the point. Most people are still bad at the basics. They are looking for some clever edge while ignoring the obvious stuff that directly impacts whether the customer ever comes back. Now, at the same time, while you are improving your LTV, you should also be thinking about AOV from the beginning. Because if somebody is already buying from you, there is usually a way to make that order stronger without making it feel forced. And you do that by creating bundles, offers, and free gifts. So the point is, if the customer is already making the decision to buy, you want to increase the value of that transaction. You need to make it feel like it's a better deal. So instead of the customer feeling like they're spending more, they actually feel like they're getting more or saving. Another upside from this is that you don't need as many customers as you think, by the way. Because now every customer is worth more. Every order is worth more. And that takes a lot of pressure off. Trust me about that. Now, naturally, the next question becomes, how do you actually get those customers in the first place? And the easiest way to do that, 13 years ago and in today's world, is meta ads. It is hands down the best way to reach a wide audience, especially when you're just starting out. It's not even optional if you actually want to scale. That being said, and I do have to be honest with you on that one, it is very easy to lose a lot of money on ads if you don't know what you're doing. I'm not going to go too deep into ads in this video. I have another video where I explain my best Facebook ad strategy. But literally, I mentioned everything from setup to creatives and scaling. I can promise you it's the only video you ever need to watch about meta ads in 2026. I'll leave that link, by the way, down below in the description. And then I want to speak about content strategies for 2026. And now this is where things get interesting. In 2026, content is not just part of the process anymore. It is the process. This is how you test. This is how you learn what works. This is how you figure out what people actually respond to. And you're not going to get that from 1 or 2 pieces of content. You need volume, a lot of it, and consistently. That's what every single successful business is doing this year. They're putting out 20, 30 pieces of content every single day consistently. You try different hooks or different ways of showing the product or different ways of explaining it. And the reality is most of that content doesn't even perform well. Some will get ignored. Some will get a bit of traction. And every now and then, something will hit. And when something hits, once you get a piece of content that actually hits, I'm talking about something that's clearly pulling attention or getting engagement or maybe even driving sales, what I don't want you to do when that happens is to start experimenting again. You need to lock it in. Because what most people do, and I've seen this over and over again, is they finally get something that works, and instead of leaning into it or doubling down on it, they get bored. They try to get creative, they switch the angle, they change everything, and they lose the one thing that was actually working for them. They basically kill their own momentum without even realizing it. So if something works, just don't ever touch it until it dies out. You run it again and you keep the same idea, the same structure, and you push that as far as it can go. You can still make variations of it or test small changes around it, but the core stays the same. That's how all the big brands are actually growing right now, by posting in volume and by doing more of what works. So what we have next, and it's one of the most, if not the most important part in this video, is the offer. If I have to watch the video twice, reread the headline, or scroll halfway down the page to understand what you're selling, you're going to leave a lot of money on the table. No one is going to sit there and analyze your product. That is just the reality of how people buy online in 2026. They scroll, they look, and they make a decision almost instantly. They want to know very quickly what it is, what problem it solves, and why they should buy it right now, which is why your offer has to be extremely clear. The problem has to be very obvious, and the outcome has to be even more obvious. And the person looking at it should instantly know if it is for them or not. The next thing I would do is spend a bit of time looking up my competitors. If I'm considering a product or a niche, I want to know who is already selling it. And I need to understand how they are doing it before I try to come in and do it myself. So I'm looking at things that they offer, their landing page, their creatives, how they present the value. At the point, your job is to understand what is already working and use that as your starting point or benchmark. You take what is proven and you focus on executing it better. Clearer positioning, stronger offer, or maybe a better presentation. You don't have to guess what works. The data is all out in the open, and somebody has already spent money figuring out what the market responds to. So you don't have to do that. That is really what market research is at this stage, and I talk a lot about it on my Instagram account. So look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is easy, because it's not. The reality is, building anything meaningful today takes a lot of work. And when it comes to e-commerce specifically, there are more people in the space, more competition, and more content being pushed out every single day. If you're the type of person that wants things to work quickly, or you're not willing to deal with things probably not working for a while, then this probably isn't for you. Because there is gonna be a phase where you're just figuring out things and you have to go through that. But at the same time, if you are willing to stick with it, if you're willing to actually put in the work and stay consistent with it, this is one of the very few businesses that can actually change your life for the better, the same exact way it changed mine. So all right, guys, I really appreciate you for watching. If there's anything you want me to cover next, just let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you on the next one.